सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Om. In this Prakarana Viveka Chudamani, we are in the section called Adhikaritvam. Adhikaritvam means Yogyata, eligibility. Yogyata for what? For Atma Anatma Viveka Vichara, and to begin the Brahma Abhyasa. So we saw in this shloka, number 19, Acharya lists the fourfold qualifications collectively called as sadhana chatushtayam and said, Adav nitya nitya vastu vivekaha tadantram vairagyam, then shatka sampatihi mumukshutvam iti. And yatra chatvari sadhanani santi satsu Tatra Sannishta. So these fourfold qualifications, as you know, are also called as the 4 Ds. D for discrimination, Vivekaha. Second D for dispassion, Vairagyam. The third D is a collection of 6 disciplines which we will see today. Beginning with Shamaha, Shamadamash, Shamadamadi, Shakka Sampatihi. And finally, mumukshutvam, or the desire for liberation. So Acharya says, when these are there in some measure, then one is qualified for jnana vichara. If they are not there, then one cannot begin this viveka vichara. Now in shloka number 20, we saw the explanation of viveka. Now, what is Vivekaha? Remember the Tattvabodha definition? Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. Now, that definition Acharya expands in shloka number 20 and says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Ityevam Rupo Vinischyaha Soyam Nitya 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 Vastu Vivekas Samudahritaha. So, what do you mean by Nitya Vastu? What is Anitya Vastu? So, Acharya says, Nitya Vastu Ekaha, Brahma Satyam, and Anitya Vastu is Anekaha, Jagat Mithya. Now, Brahma Satyam is that Brahma Chaitanyam which is Avasthatraya Sakshi, non-negatable Satyam in the 3 periods of time, which is the invariable constant, not conditioned by Desha, Kala, Vastu. That alone is Nitya Vastu, Brahma Satyam. Then, what is Mithya? What do you mean by Jagat Mithya, Anitya Vastu? Everything else will come under that category. So, Jagat, the word itself means Jayate Gacchati iti Jagat. That which is constantly undergoing the cycles of Srishti, Sthiti and Laya, which is born, is gone, born, gone, born, is. So, what is the nature of Jagat? Drishta Nashta Svabhavaha, which means even as I am experiencing this Pancha Bhautikam Jagat, through the Pancha Bhautikam bodies, the body is also part of the Jagat. The Jagat has changed. So we see that Anitya Vastu is anything that is subject to the Shad Vikaras and it is subject to constant change. Shankaracharya has also composed that verse in Bhajagovindam and says, Dinayaminyau sayam prataha shishira vasanto punarayataha kala kridati gacchati ayuho tadapi na munchati Asha Vayuhu. That is how the day follows night. The seasons are rotating again and again. Srishti Sthiti Laya, in the play of time, Kalaha Kridati. But still, there is desire. Asha Vayuhu na Munchati. So that is the Anitya Vastu. Anitya Vastu because it is a karma phalam. That anything that is born of action, anything put together is finite and perishable, and hence Anitya Vastu. And so, here Acharya says that let us do the discriminative analysis between what is Nityam and what is Anityam. How will we do this analysis? By these prakriyas. Drik, Drishya, Viveka prakriya is one. Neti, Neti is a very good prakriya from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So when I say na iti, na iti, na iti, whatever is experienced, whatever is an object of enjoyment and subject to change, na, that is not permanent. And the word given is mithya. So mithya is that which is sat and asat at the same time. Yeah, that is the magic of mithya. Sat asadbhyam anirvachaniya. So why is it sat? Because I experience it. It is nama rupa. It is very much tangible and visible. And why is it asat? Because it does not stay. Yeah, it is fleeting. It is going away. So sat asadbhyam anirvachaniya. So whatever I can negate using these prakriyas is mithya. Now, if I keep on negating everything, body, mind, neti, 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 will anything be left at all? Is it shunyam, the satyam? No, because you cannot negate the negator. The one who is negating is the sakshi drik, is the observer, it is the witness, and that is who you are, the Nityavastu Atma. And so that we already saw in the 19th, 20th shloka about Viveka. Then 21st shloka, Acharya unfolded the second D, that is Vairagyam. What is Vairagyam? Tat Vairagyam Jihasa Ya Darshana Shravanadibhi Dehadi Brahma Paryantam Hi Anitye Vastu Bhoga Vastuni. So Acharya explains the second D and says, what is Vairagyam? We would say dispassion. Here the word used is jihasa. The Sanskrit word jihasa comes from the root ha. Ha means to give up, renounce. So what is being renounced here? Hatum ichha, the desire to renounce all the objects of enjoyment, starting from the deha all the way up to Brahma. Dehadi paryantam bhoga vastuni anitye jihasa. That is the definition of Vairagyam. Now, we see the deha. So anything that I enjoy, which is the body centered, and through the body to possessions, to people, to situations, to events in life, are they permanent? So here, Acharya says that we see that all of them is karma phalam. The body is karma phalam, prarabdha karma phalam, and anything experienced through the body in the world is also a finite, perishable result. What about the highest Svarga, Brahmaloka? Is it permanent? No. So even Brahmadev is a post, and after the lifespan of Brahma, that is one kalpa, again there is a complete dissolution. Remember chapter 8 Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartinaha, hey Arjuna. That is all these lokas, they are constantly rotating. Punaravartinaha. And so, ashashvatam dukkhalayam lokam prapya maham bhajasva. So Arjuna, having attained this loka that is fraught with pain and which is ashashvatam, impermanent, you seek the Nitya Vastu. That is who I am. Mam Bhajasva. So that is the meaning Acharya gives here for Vairagyam. In the sense that when we pursue Artha and Kama, then we will get a finite result. What about Dharma when I pursue? I will get Punyam, but Punyam is also a perishable result. It is only postponed to the future. So all these three pursuits, the Mumukshu will examine Dharma, Artha and Kama and come to the conclusion that they are all Anityam, Anitya Karma Phala. So Vairagyam is really all about, am I prepared to lose everything before it is snatched away from me? Kalaha Kridati. So the time is Sarva Bhakshakaha. So whether I want it or not, constantly things are being swallowed up in the flow of time. But am I ready to lose it even before it is snatched away? That is the state of emotional maturity called Vairagyam. Now, Pujya Swamiji gave another translation. Said instead of dispassion, we will take the meaning of objectivity for Vairagya. So what is objectivity? Objectivity is to appreciate any vastu in the world for what it is, neither more nor less. Vastutaha. For example, take the body. So the body, we do not want to pamper it, neither do we want to ignore and disregard it. Why? We have just seen in the first few verses in this Prakarana, the Manushya Janma Prashansa, Jantuna Narajanma Durlabham. Because the body is Karmakshetram, Dharmakshetram, Mokshadwaram. So the body is a blessing, human body is a blessing. And so dispassion will be a healthy attitude and approach towards the body. Then what about wealth? So Vairagyam does not mean turning away in disgust or running away from the world, disregarding the body and all possessions. I give up everything. No. It is the giving up of ownership, ahankara, mamakara, and to have the healthy approach. Now what about money? Now money is very useful. It pays the bills. It helps me pursue dharma. I can buy books. But money cannot buy enjoyment. I can buy food but not appetite. I can buy mattresses but not sleep. I can buy books but not the understanding capacity. So money can give comforts and conveniences but not happiness. So understanding what anything in life can give, but again, what can it not give? Moksha, wealth cannot postpone my lifespan, can it? So when the time to go has come, any amount of wealth and affluence is not going to help. So this approach and attitude towards life and everything in life is called Vairagyam. Yeah? Then what about family members and situations? No? Should I run away from them and be dispassionate? Show Vairagyam? Again, no. Because again, the healthy approach that the situation, the family members, these opportunities, they're all stepping stones, sahakaris. They will help me gain the chitta shuddhi, the inner maturity. And they're all manifestations of Ishvara. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha, Krishna says. So this is the life of objectivity and the healthy approach, which is to be understood as Vairagyam for a seeker of Mumukshu, Moksha. Now, so what Vairagyam really means is emotional independence. That is, I am not dependent emotionally, psychologically on anything for my happiness, peace and security. Okay, so we have completed up to 21. That was a short recap. Now we have completed the first two Ds. Now let us start the third D, which you know is a collection of 6 disciplines commonly known as Shatka Sampattihi. We say Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi or Shamadamadi Shatka Sampattihi. because it's a set of 6, beginning with Shamaha. Shamaha, there is a sequence there. Shamaha, Damaha, and so on. So let us look into the verse number 22. Virajya Vishayavratat, Virajya Vishayavratat, Doshadrishtya Muhurmuhu, Doshadrishtya Muhurmuhu, Swalakshe Niyatavastha, Swalakshe Niyatavastha, Manasashama Uchyate, Manasashama Uchyate. Virajya Vishayavvrata Doshadrishtya Muhurmuhu Swalakshe Niyatavastha Manasashama Uchyate. Now Acharya is going to explain what is Shamaha. Virajya Vishayavratat Doshadrishtya Muhurmuhu Swalakshe Niyata Avastha Manasaha Shamaha Uchyate. Now we have come across these definitions in Tattva Bodha. So what was Shamaha? How was it defined in Tattva Bodha? Simply Mano Nigraha, mastery over the mind. But in this Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya expands those Tattva Bodha definitions and makes it little more clear. What does Acharya say? Virajya. Virajya means turning away. Turning what away? The mind. Turning the mind away. From what? Vishaya Vratat. Now Vrata means a samuha, a host, a group. So Vishaya Vrata is the host of sense objects. Yeah, Shabdadyaha, sense objects are the Vishayas. Turning the mind away from the objects of desire. How will we do that? By doing dosha darshanam, dosha drishtya. We will come to that in detail. When should I do this? Muhuhu, muhuhu. Muhuhu, muhuhu means punaha, punaha. Always, again and again. You know, when we listen to a lecture by a Swamiji, then at some moments we feel inspired and filled with vairagyam. But after some time, we have to continue life. And then we don't have that level again, inspiration. So, the mukshu has to again and again be very alert. And in examining, self-examination, is the Viveka, what is the Viveka level, Vairagyam level, and so on. So here, Shamaha is turning the mind away from the objects of desire by examining the limitations, the defects in the pursuit of anitya vastus. Then having turned away, what should I do? Swalakshe niyata avastha. Turning the mind away from anityam, I want to focus it on the nitya vastu atma. So swalakshya means the goal of self-knowledge, the source. So turning the mind away to make it abide in the Atma Vastu. We have seen this in the Gita many times. Yato nischarati manaschanchala masthiram atma samstam manakritva nachintayati. So, where Krishna tells in chapter 6 Dhyana Yoga, from whatever object the mind is attracted to, we have to bring it back again and again, back to the mantra, back to the Gita shloka, back to the center. So Shamaha, what is Shamaha really? Focusing power, staying power, abidance. Swalakshe niyata avastha. Niyata avastha means steady abidance. We have also had that beautiful analogy of a lamp. If you place a lamp in a spot which is free from wind, nivatastha deepaha, how it will remain steady, the flame. So too, Shamaha is the sadhana, the effort to make the mind abide at the source. Atma samstam. And that is called Shamaha Uchyate. So the abidance of the mind in the self-knowledge, in the Atma Tattvam, bringing it repeatedly back from the objects of desire, this practice or this sadhana is called Shamaha. Yehi samsparshja bhogaha dukkhayonaya evacha nate shuramate buddha adyantavanta kaunteya. Krishna has also said that the wise people will never rejoice in the pleasures born of contact of the sense organs and sense objects. Why? Because they are dukkhalayaha, dukkhayonayaha. They are wombs of future pain. Now, let us see how to do this dosha darshanam. Dosha darshanam is to see the limitation and the defects in enjoyment. Should I not enjoy life? Should I not buy clothes, try new cuisines and travel and be with friends and have parties and go to movies? This question may come to our mind. But remember, we are in the Adhikaritvam section for a student of seeker of moksha. And so, such a student will always be constantly reflecting upon the defects. Now, what are the defects? That whatever I pursue, an object of desire, will give me temporary whatever, peace, security and happiness. Then what is likely to happen? It will leave behind a vasana, a samskara in my mind which will crave repetition, and it can lead to enslavement, addiction, emotional dependence. And even if I enjoy something like a status, a name and a fame, some wealth, some property, what happens after that? Let's say a car. We bought our own car or built our own home. Then there has to be maintenance. I have to struggle to preserve it. And there is the fear of theft, fear of loss. So a mumukshu will do all this vichara before fulfilling the desires. This is called dosha darshanam. Simple dosha darshanam. If I have a pizza tonight, then it's very likely that I will get up with stomach pain in the morning. So, any intelligent person will think, if I enjoy this today, I should be ready to face the consequences tomorrow. So, this is the kind of dosha darshanam. I want emotional independence. Yeah? And by this discriminative analysis, one frees the mind from the Vishaya Vratat and bringing it back again and again to the Atma Tattvam, Niyata Avastha. This is called Shamaha, the focusing capacity of the mind. Let us chant the shloka again. So, this shloka is just echoing what Krishna has said in chapter 6. When Arjuna says, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna, pramadhi balavadridam, tasyaham nigraham manye vayoho evat dushkaram. Krishna, the mind is so difficult to control, it's like having to control the wind. Krishna agrees. He says, Asamshayam mahabaho, I agree. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Always remember these two things. Muhu, abhyasa, constant abhyasa in the spiritual routine that we follow, and vairagyam. Vairagyam is not that we don't enjoy. We are free to enjoy things in life, but to remember the consequences also. Am I ready to face the consequences? Yeah? So the healthy approach is to have a constant spiritual routine and be in satsanga always. Virajya vishaya vrata dosha drishtya muhurmuhu swalakshye niyatavastha manasashama uchyate. So that was the first of the sixfold discipline called Shama. Mano Nigraha in one word. Now let's go to 23rd, which is all about Damaha. How was Damaha defined in Tattvabodha? Indriya Nigraha. Now we are coming to the mastery at the level of the sense organs. What was Shamaha? Mastery at the level of the mind, which is more difficult because at the level of the mind, the wise person, what will he do? He'll pluck out the desires. Prajahati gada kaman sarvan partha manogatam. Even as a desire like wave appears in the mind lake, this strong mumukshu, the jnani, is able to pluck it out and not pursue it, but remains as an uninvolved witness. Now, damaha is about at the level of the body, level of the sense organs. Let us chant the verse here. Vishayebhyah paravartya, Vishayebhyah paravartya, Sthapanam swasvagolake, Sthapanam swasvagolake, Upayesham indriyanam, Saha damah parikirtitaha, Upayesham indriyanam, Sadamah parikirtitaha. Vishayebhyah paravartya sthapanam swasvagolake ubhayesham indriyanam sadamah parikirtitaha. Acharya is explaining damaha now. Vishayebhyah paravartya sthapanam swasvagolake ubhayesham indriyanam saha damaha parikirtitaha. Now, so here Vishayebhyaha means from the objects of enjoyment, from the sense objects. What is being done? Paravartya. Again, turning one's back, having turned away from the objects of desire. What are we turning back here? Upayesham indriyanam. Upayesham indriyanam means both the sets of sense organs. Now we know we have, Dashendriyani, right? 10 sense organs, 5 organs of knowledge and 5 of action. So the organs of knowledge bring in the data to the mind and organs of action respond to the external world. Constant data interchange is happening. Yeah. Now, what is Golaka? Golaka is this physical counterpart. We have physical eyes, physical ears, and tongue and skin. But Indriyam is the subtle faculty. How do I enjoy sight? I have to just open my eyes and sight happens, hearing happens, touch, feel happens. How? Because there is a subtle faculty blessed by a Devata. Surya Devata blessing sight, Ashwini Kumara's blessing the sense of smell, Vayu blessing the sense of touch, Varuna the sense of taste, and so on. We have seen the whole list in Tattvabodha. So here Acharya says that when we turn the sense organs away from the sense objects and sthapanam, do sthapanam means make them abide in their respective golakas, the physical counterparts. Swa golake sthapanam ubhayesham indriyanam. This practice, this sadhana is called damaha. Just means that mastery of the organs of action and knowledge. That is restraining the subtle faculties, and making them abide in their respective physical counterparts, not to be carried away by, the shabdadyaha sense objects. So this mastery over the indriyas is called damaha. Now this is the reason why our culture, we fast. We're fasting because that is the sthapanam of the, the tongue. The tongue indriyam is not given any work, is on vacation, fasting. Then maunam. Then if I decide not to touch the internet, no browsing, then the chakshur indriyam is abiding peacefully. Yeah? This kind of sthapanam, this kind of mastery, the sense restraint is called damaha. these two go together. Shamaha is at the level of the mind, mastery at the level of the mind, and Damaha is the level of the sense organs and the body. Now what will happen if I don't do this, these sadhanas? Then we know that all these sense faculties and the body will be just draining out like a leaking pot. And this is why what the young Nachiketa tells Yama, when Yama tempts him with all the enjoyments, tries to tempt him, Nachiketa says, no, tejaha jarayanti, all my tejas, ojas, prana will be leaking if I enjoy as your offering. O Yamadeva, keep your enjoyments. I do not want any of them. So the more we browse, the more we read, watch television and go hear about and listen to audios and then taste everything all the time, we can see that we are not enjoying them. They are enjoying the faculties. They will be jara. Jara will approach even faster. So a mumukshu is very careful about where this energy is going. And so sva golake sthapanam is to restrain the sense organs and turning them away from enjoyments to make them abide in the sense, in the physical counterparts. This way, the mind will be restrained and will have the energy for the higher pursuit of Atma, Anatma, Viveka. That is the point here. Vishayebhyah paravartya sthapanam swaswagolake ubhayesham indriyanam sadamah parikirtitah. So we have completed Shamaha and Damaha. What is the next? The next is called Uparatihi. There is only a one-line verse for Uparatihi in the Shloka 23rd. Bahyanalambanam vrittehe Esha uparatihi uttama. Bahyanalambanam vrittehe Esho paratiruttama. That's it, one line for uparatihi. Now, there is a certain sequence. Have you noticed it? Initially, a mumukshu will start with Viveka. Only when there is Chitta Shuddhi will Viveka come to the mind. Oh, is there a Nitya Vastu? What is this? Everything is Anityam. Viveka. That Viveka will lead us to Vairagyam. If the worldly objects are Anityam, then why should I chase them? Vairagya will come. So how Viveka leads to Vairagyam? Then Vairagyam will take us to Shamaha. Then Shamaha to Damaha and so on. But they are also interconnected in the sense, if I develop even one quality, all of them are going to come in. But there is a sequence also. So in this next of the value, the discipline is Uparatihi. Now there is another word for Uparatihi which is Uparamaha. And we find different Shastras giving us different meanings for Uparatihi. Tattvabodha definition, if you remember, was Swadharma Anushtanam. Yeah? That is, if I am devoted to my Nitya Naimittika karmas and pursue dharma and perform the Vihita karmas enjoined by the Shastra, that is Uparatihi. But the word Uparatihi means what? Withdrawal. Withdrawal means quietude. So what am I withdrawing myself from? From Kamya karmas, from Pratishiddha karmas. That is one meaning. Then another Shastra gives the meaning of Uparatihi as Sannyasa. So in the last ashrama of life, there is a complete withdrawal from all the duties and obligations. So sannyasi is exempt from duties towards family, society, community, country, everything. So that is the highest Uparatihi. So there are different levels of withdrawal that is meant here. Now, let us see the third meaning given by Acharya Shankara in this one line. Bahya analambanam vrittehe iti uttama uparatihi is the highest Uparatihi. Uttama Uparatihi. Now, what does this mean? Now, you all know what is Alambanam. No? Alambanam, the word means support. Yeah? Some kind of support. A mental support. Here, Acharya says that when one is free from psychological leaning, psychological dependence on anything external, that is the Uttama Uparatihi. Bahya analambanam vrittehe iti Uttama Uparatihi. Here the vritti is to be understood as the mind or aham vritti. So when I the ahankara, I am not leaning psychologically on any external alambanam, external support. There are many people who think their life is worth it. They can only live when this person is there, or when I have this and I have that. So there is a very strong emotional dependence. Yeah? So the mumukshu will understand that I cannot afford to have any kind of leaning, psychological dependence on anyone and anything anityam in this world. That is called Uparatihi. Now, this withdrawal again does not mean running away from the world, running away from situation. It is a mental withdrawal. It is a mental understanding. Because, the world is going to enter our mind anyway. In the waking state, there is always perceptions going on. Perceptions are entering my mind. And then even if I don't perceive in the world, what about memories? Memories will come up. Then when I go to sleep, the vasanas become active. So we cannot withdraw into seclusion and detach from the world. That is not the meaning here. So Uparatihi here is again the absence of mind notion. This belongs to me. Without this I cannot live. My home, my property. So the absence of ownership is the mental withdrawal. So at best, who am I? Managing trustee. I do not own anything, not even this body. If I was the master of my body, I could prevent it from aging. But the grey hairs come, the wrinkles will come, faculties will decline. So everything is a gift of Ishvara and governed by the Agnya, the command of Ishvara. So this is the third meaning of, this Uparatihi. In the Gita also we find this word in the 6th chapter. Shanai Shanai Ruparamed Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya. So may one with the buddhi withdraw in stages, slowly but surely, and focus the mind on the Atma Tattvam. Uparamet. Same meaning here. Okay. So Bahya Analambanam Vrittehe Esha Uparatihi Uttama. So Uparatihi really means what? Withdrawal. And there are stages of that. So initially we will have withdrawal in terms of Swadharma Anushtanam, pursuit of dharma. And the sannyasi's withdrawal is sannyasa, renunciation of the kartritva, bhoktritva, tyaga. And here the sadhana is, Shankaracharya says, is to have that no emotional leaning. Puja Swamiji would say that Vedanta will remove all the emotional crutches for us, but it will show us the whole. You are the whole, you are independent, and that is who you really are. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So that is Uparatihi. So we finish Shamaha, Damaha, Uparatihi. Then shall we go to next, Titiksha. To attend these sessions, we all need Titiksha. So Titiksha is the staying power. And how does Acharya now define in Shloka number 24? Titiksha is a very famous verse, oft quoted. Sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikarapoorvakam. Sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikarapoorvakam. Chinta vilaparahitam satitiksha nigadyate. Chinta vilaparahitam satitiksha nigadyate. Sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikarapoorvakam. Chinta vilapa rahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. So Acharya here says, how can we define titiksha? Now the word titiksha we all know means forbearance. Yeah, the capacity to endure pain, patience, tolerance, endurance. All these are meanings for titiksha. And if you remember chapter 2, titiksha has been mentioned by Krishna also. Matra sparshast kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agamapayino nityaha tan titikshasva bharata. Krishna has told Arjuna, Arjuna, have titiksha. Titiksha for what? For all those choiceless, difficult situations in life, painful situations that are getting unfolded in life, the discomforts, the difficulties. In short, tapatrayam. There will be difficulties, adhyatmika, coming from my own body and mind, then adi daivika, divine disturbances in the environment, then adi bhautika, surroundings also. So all this, what choice do we have? We may want to do a lot of pujas and pariharas and visit temples or astrologers, or doctors for removal of all these. But the mumukshu will say that we can never completely remove all this. And even if I do, I will only get temporary relief. So what is the wise approach? Endure. Sahanam. That is the first word here in the shloka. Sahanam. Sahanam is to bear. To bear what? Sarva dukkhanam. All these situations of pain. Now, why should I bear them? Because they are the prarabdha karma phalam unfolding. Now, they are choiceless, unavoidable. Now, how should I go through these situations? There are a couple of important words there. One is apratikara purvakam. Apratikara purvakam means without retaliation, without dvesha. Sometimes when we find ourselves in a difficult situation, then we want to blame it on somebody, on the spouse, or the government, or the society, or children, or the weather. Something will be blamed upon. But here, Acharya is saying that may one endure it patiently, and have objectivity. Again, objectivity. Seeing that the situation, is an unfavorable situation for me. How am I going to go through the situation? Patiently. Apratikara purvakam. Without that inner, strong desire to take revenge. In the Mahabharata we see, so much, avenge feeling full. Drupada and, this, all these people, Bhima versus Duryodhana, Arjuna versus Karna, then all these people are wanting to avenge themselves. But here, Acharya says, for a mumukshu, one has to have the apratikara purvakam manas. Non-retaliating mind and with the capacity to endure. And we find that this is a very important quality because there will be suffering and trying circumstances in any ashrama. As a brahmachari, students suffer. As a grihastha, it's very intense. Vanaprastha, there is insecurity, aging and fear of loneliness and so on. Sannyasis also, they will be worried about where the next bhiksha will come from. So, titiksha is to calmly accept, endure and move through that phase. That is apratikara purvakam. Then the second adjective is chinta vilapa rahitam. without chinta, without worry and without lamentation. Yeah. So some people will go through difficult situations, but lamenting, grumbling, complaining. It's too hot, it's too cold. You're always late. And why did this happen to me? I do not deserve it. No, Mumukshu will not waste time, effort and energy in all this, but Chinta Vilaparahitam Apratikara Purvakam Sahanam is to endure. Because it is a choiceless situation. In other words, may one have Prasada Buddhi. Prasada Buddhi is even these situations, where I feel stuck, and this is to be seen as a manifestation of Ishvaraha, in other words. Sa titiksha nigadyate. Such an attitude of sahanam, endurance, is called titiksha. Like the corona period, how much titiksha it taught us all. So many people feel that it should be renamed as Karuna, Karuna virus, because it taught us self-dependence and detachment, and so many good things also came out of it, out of that difficult period. So titiksha is an important value here, and this is what Acharya explains. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. So the capacity to endure situations without breaking down. So when we are prayerful, when we are always enjoying satsanga, and then we can build up this inner strength, that is the strength of titiksha. Okay. And Krishna has said in chapter 2 again, those who have titiksha saha amritatvaya kalpate. They alone are fit for amritam, moksha praptihi. That strength of mind should be there. Now let's go to the next of the sixfold disciplines, and that is Shraddha. In the 25th verse. Shastrasya guruvakyasya satyabuddhyavadharanam sa shraddha kathita sadbhihi yaya vastu palabhyate. Very, very important qualification, Shraddha. Perhaps the most important qualification. Gita, we know, Shraddhavan labate jnanam, and ashraddhadhanaha ajnaha samshayatma vinashyati. The one who has no Shraddha, can such a person succeed even in normal life? Cannot gain success, name, fame, any status. What to speak about the Paramjnanam? So Shraddha is very important. Let us see how Acharya defines it here. Now Tattvabodha definition is similar to this. Shastreshu Guruvakyeshu Vishwasaha iti Shraddha. In Tattvabodha we saw. Here Acharya says Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhi Avadharanam. Avadharana means understanding, ascertainment, discerning. Avadharanam. Avadharanam. What avadharanam? How? Satya Buddhi Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya. So when a mumukshu has Shraddha, has the Satya Buddhi in the Shastra and the Guru, then that understanding, Sa Shraddha Kathita, that is called Shraddha. And this is Kathita, this is mentioned by whom? Sadbhihi, by the wise people, by Acharyas, Vidwan, Satpurushas. They have defined Shraddha like this, the Satya Buddhi, the understanding and Satya Buddhi. By which, and by such a Shraddha alone, what? Vastu Upalabhyate. That Vastu Jnanam, the freedom, moksha prapti, will be only there for Shraddhavans, those who are endowed with Shraddha. And who are not, Vinashyati, perishes. Perishes means what? They will remain in samsara. So Shraddha is very, very important. There are beautiful stories in the Upanishad of Shishyas approaching with Shraddha, although not very highly intelligent or okay, some internet problem. So we were seeing the value of Shraddha. So here I was saying why Shraddha is to can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, yes, now.
So Satya Buddhi is Pramana Buddhi. Now what is Pramana Buddhi? Pramana Buddhi is to understand that It is only by Shastra Pramana, Shabda Pramana, that I can gain this knowledge. In fact, Krishna says in chapter 14 at the very end, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karyau Vyavastitau. Arjuna, Shastra alone is the Pramanam to know what is to be done and what is to be avoided. Yeah? So, that Pramana Buddhi, that Satya Buddhi, having that is called Shraddha. So I do not dismiss the Guru. I do not stop Vedanta classes just because I don't understand. I have to work on my mind. I have to clarify doubts. I have to revisit the verses. I have to listen to recordings again and again. And examine to see where is the shortcoming in me. Is the Adhikaritvam upgraded? All this is involved in Shraddha. And that student who has Shraddha in the words of the Guru and the Shastra, Jnanam Labhyate, will definitely gain the knowledge. And this is defined as Shraddha by whom? Sadbihis, by the wise Satpurushas. And what do they say? Yaya Vastu Upalabhyate. By Shraddha alone one can gain the Moksha Praptihi or Vastu Jnanam. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhyavadharanam Sa Shraddha Kathita Sadbihi Yaya Vastu Palabhyate. So, we have seen today Shamaha is the mastery over the mind, Damaha, the mastery over the sense organs, Uparatihi is the withdrawal, the quietude. Titiksha is endurance, staying power. And Shraddha is an open, trusting, strong mind. Now there is one more, and that is Samadhanam. We'll briefly see that also today and then revisit it next time. So what is Samadhanam here? Sarvada sthapanam buddhehe shuddhe brahmani sarvada tat samadhanam iti uktam natu chittasya lalanam. Now samadhanam, the word is very close to samadhi. So there is the word samyak adhanam. Adhanam is to place. To place something very well is samadhi or samadhanam. And Tattvabodha definition was Chitta Ekagrata. The one-pointedness of the mind was defined as Samadhanam in Tattvabodha. Same meaning here also. Sarvada, at all times, Sthapanam. The maintaining, abiding of the Buddhi, Shuddha Buddhi, where? Brahmani, on the source, on the Atma. Tat samadhanam iti uktam. This is called samadhanam. And natu chittasya lalanam. It is not a light play of the mind, but it is the steady, the establishment of the mind on the Brahmavastu, one-pointedness. So samyak adhanam means the mind is very well placed at the source. Now in the Jiva Yatra, we may be in different ashramas. Some may be brahmachari, some are grihasthas, some are vanaprasthas, and some are sannyasis, right? But all the time, can I be without forgetting this goal? Non-forgetting. The one-pointedness of the mind is called samadhanam. And the common example given here is that of the musician. The Carnatic musician, she will sing many different ragas and talas will change, but she is always tuned into the tambura shruti in the background. That tambura shruti is the ekaha atma tattvam. That is what is samadhanam. Sthapanam, placing the mind very well, samyak adhanam, in the Brahmavastu, Satyavastu. Satyavastu is called Samadhanam. Yeah. And so we'll stop here for now and just chant this one more time. Sarvada sthapanam buddhehi shuddhe brahmani sarvada tat samadhanam ityuktam natu chittasya lalanam. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.